The whole world is talking about Simone Biles right now and her
Right.
withdrawal from the team competition earlier today. The United States women's gymnastics team bringing home the silver after she does this. I know you've been
Right.
talking to a lot of people in the gymnastics world, which of course you used to be part of the elite gymnastics world, and you all stay very close. And I know a lot of you guys are talking about what's going on.
Right.
Not a physical injury, that's what you typically see, but Simone said that is
Right.
just a lot of pressure.
And that was the fear after watching the vault warm up and seeing kind of how things were going. Was there was that question because she did not have a clean warm up. Was she physically injured? And in the end, it was announced during the meet a little bit, but then she confirmed it in the press conference later that it was just mentally she was not there, and that can be dangerous. And we saw that a little bit in that vault warm up for sure.
Absolutely. It happened very early this morning. Now we'll
Right.
see this during prime time play out, knowing what we know now, kind of get to Monday morning quarterback everything
Yeah.
at this point, which is unique for the Olympics.
Yes.
But what are you hearing from the different groups of people in
Yeah.
that elite gymnastics world circle? Because it's we spoke a little bit about this before, and I find it completely fascinating.
So really, I've been talking to, like you said, Christine, a lot of people, some former gymnasts, some former coaches, some current coaches, and some, who are still very much involved with USA Gymnastics. And the theme that I've kind of been hearing, and what's interesting is it's kind of one phrase, and that is, if Marta Caroli was there, this would not have happened. And that goes two ways. And that's what's so interesting is you hear these two different groups of people saying that same phrase, and it means two different things. On the one hand, there are those that say, you know what, if Marta was there, this wouldn't have happened. She would have been forced to continue. And this shows how our sport has moved forward. And they say that this is proof the sport's gotten healthier, and mental health has become a part that's recognized and one that is, acknowledged. The other group of people that say if Marta was there, this wouldn't have happened, say if Marta was there, this wouldn't have happened because she would have sucked it up, she would have gotten her head right, and she would have continued with the competition, because that is what you're expected to do when you are the best female gymnast in the United States. So it's definitely two different sides of the coin there. And it's just so amazing to me that they're not involved anymore, and it still kind of goes back to the Carolis.
That's completely interesting. And you would think, especially with Simone, um, she's obviously a young woman, but she's much more mature years wise than other athletes that we have seen in the past. And I guess for people who are criticizing her, I kind of want to play devil's advocate on the opposite side here and say, who knows Simone better than Simone knows Simone? She's out there.
Sure.
She is performing these incredibly dangerous, even at
Yeah.
her skill level, each and every time she throws any trick, any skill that she has.
Right.
If she's not there mentally, if she's not thinking about her air awareness, her body configuration,
Mm-hmm.
she could fall and hurt herself and break her
Easily.
neck easily,
Easily. And
paralyze herself, kill herself. We've seen it
exactly.
happen.
We've seen it happen. And I mean, just like you said, Christine, nobody really knows except for her, because she's the only one. And I don't want to say that this is what happened, but one thing that she did mention in the press conference was during that vault warm up that she lost herself in the air.
Mhm.
And that can mean a few different things. So there are times where you just you lose your air awareness. I mean, it happens. I mean, gosh, who trips when they walk? I mean, just sometimes you lose like where your body's at. But then there's a different level of that in gymnastics, where if you lose yourself in the air, it can become a real mental block in some ways. And if you're not mentally there and you're losing yourself in the air, suddenly it's like your brain cannot compute to your body what needs to happen. And as it keeps happening, it gets worse and it gets worse and it gets worse. And it's a mind block. And again, not saying that's what happened to Simone this morning, but it is something that happens to gymnasts every now and then. And then if you have that mind block and you cannot connect your brain to your body, that is where it gets dangerous.
Mhm.
And she did mention in the press conference this morning that she stepped back because she was not in the right headspace, and she thought the best thing for the team moving forward was to let the other three who were prepared and were ready to go. And I really, really want to impress the job the other three young women did. They were absolutely fantastic. I don't like seeing that they settled for silver or all this
They
stuff.
rallied
They
for silver.
won the silver medal, and they still got really close heading into floor, winning a gold medal. And I've been saying this whole week when we've been talking. I think that the USA could have fielded 2 teams and gone 1 and 2. I still say that.
Absolutely.
If they'd gone into this competition knowing it was just going to be them 3 and that was what it was going to be, I think it would have been a different story. Think of all the things they had to like change in their mind. Like 2 of them were only supposed to do 2 events. Suddenly they're doing 4 events. And, it's just, that is so much when there's no fans, no family, that support system is not there. You only have each other. It's amazing what these 3 young women did today. Absolutely amazing.
And not only does Simone know herself better than anybody else, I think Simone knows the sport of gymnastics better than anybody else. And so let's say she got up on the beam, about this wide,
Right.
not having her air awareness, not being there fully mentally to stay on that 4 inches of beam. And Jordan didn't get to do that. Who knows? Like, she could have fallen off and gotten a horrible score.
By the way, Jordan got robbed on her beam score.
Yes,
Just saying.
yes, agree.
Just saying.
No, I 100%
Robbed.
agree. But say Jordan didn't get that score and Simone went up there. Simone didn't listen to herself after her first vault. She gets up there, she falls off maybe multiple times, because that's what seems to happen whenever you mess up in a beam routine. It kind of just escalates sometimes.
Right.
That silver might not be an option at that point.
Correct. It may not be an option. And also with the air awareness and the kind of mental block I mentioned earlier, sometimes it becomes so much you just freeze and you just can't throw a skill. Like it can, at that kind of like anxiety and stress and trying to throw skills if you're not mentally there, that can happen and you can just freeze. And again, not saying that's what happened to her at all, because I don't know what she's going through. I just know that that's happened to me before. And it is scary when you are not in your mind and body bubble in gymnastics and you're trying to throw these skills. So that's happened to me before. I will once again say, not sure that's what happened to her, but it was clear something was going on in that vault warm up when that was her easy vault, which is wild to say. But I mean, gosh, we've all seen her do that Aminar, that Yurchenko 2.5 twist. We saw her do it 5 years ago, no problem. So the fact that she was breaking open on a 1.5 twist, under rotating a 1.5 twist.
It's scary. That's where you fall. You break your neck. You break.
Correct.
You don't want to think about
No,
that sort of thing.
you don't. So I'm hoping that moving forward, that this kind of does become more of a conversation in the gymnastics world. Like I mentioned, I've been talking with people all morning. There are kind of 2 schools of thought that I'm realizing as we move forward with this. So I'm hoping this kind of opens up that conversation a little bit more to maybe bring those sides together and have that compromise, because the sport of gymnastics in this country is really at, I don't think crossroads is the right word, but it is at a point where it needs to move in a certain direction. And I think we're finding that direction. And so much of it's been finding it through Simone Biles. And I think that's what made this so wild. But man, those 3 young women, they're rock stars.
They are rock stars. Simone, still the greatest.
Absolutely. She is a
gymnast
rock
of all
star
time.
too.
Absolutely. Her credentials speak for themselves. She still, and we'll see and find out if she's going to compete on Thursday. We don't know yet. She's still an amazing example for all of the young gymnasts out there, men and women, girls and boys, and what she has done for the sport and has stayed in it when she did not have to. She could have taken her millions and run, and the attention that she has brought to it.
And those other 3 awesome examples as well.
Oh my gosh.
Of how to overcome, because let's face it, growing up.
Every single one of them has a story like that.
And things are not going to go the way that you want them to in life. And those 3 young women, I mean, they had lemons, and man, they made the best lemonade on the face of the earth today.
Yeah.
And watching them, I was smiling, I was cheering. I'm sorry for my neighbors because I was screaming for them. I will tell you all, Suni Lee's bar routine is a work of art tonight. You get to see it on NBC4. It's art in motion, and it brought tears to my eyes. It was so
Whitney,
beautiful.
That's really awesome that you're saying that, because I think that's what we should be looking for tonight. Whenever we do see this replay in prime time. Look for the positive.
Oh
These
man.
other girls, I know that's going to be the main headline tonight, but watch these other
Oh my
women, watch
gosh.
their
Yeah.
routines, just to enjoy the artistry, enjoy the athleticism of what they're doing on the floor. And
Yeah.
we all know that they get silver, but they're still the second
I
best
know.
in the world.
Imagine having your like most crazy, insane, who knows what's coming day possible, and you're still the second best in the world at something. I know that's something I'm probably never going to experience. So I think we really need to, while I, like you said, this is going to be what we're all talking about. Those other three women deserve as much more of the conversation for what they did this morning. And everybody needs to watch because the routines, it's just, wow, the way they stepped up after it all happened. That's when they hit their stride.
Yeah, and then watch their focus on the beam, on the
Yeah.
bars, on the floor, on the vault. Watch their focus,
Mm-hmm.
and may I suggest you think about, could they execute what they're executing if they didn't kind of have that focus? If Simone went out there on the vault and tore her Achilles, no one would have anything to say about this.
Mm-hmm.
But your Achilles in gymnastics is just as important as your mind, as your spatial awareness, as your focus. So kind of remember that.
Yeah.
Anybody who is out there criticizing her, just think about what she does on a daily basis. That is her job.
Yeah.
And
It's definitely in a situation that I don't know if any of us are ever going to realize, and the stress that she had on her going into these games. It happens with U.S. women gymnasts all the time, but let's face it, this was a little bit of a different level of stress. And I've had some people say to me today, well, some of that was done by herself with the rhinestone goats and things like that. And it's like, you know what? I can't say I completely disagree, but you got to have fun and you've got to like embrace your awesomeness and your greatness. And I think that that's something that women in this country need to understand. It's okay to say, I am awesome and I am great instead of apologizing for greatness. And that's something that many have had to do for so many years.
it takes
I'll get
a
off my soapbox
no,
about that.
no, I'm on one too. Listen, you got to think you're the greatest of all time. You have this ego. You put your ego aside to let these other three girls shine because you know that they're going to do better than you today. So
Yeah.
that's my take on it. I know that a lot of people have a lot of different opinions on it,
Yeah.
but
And they will moving forward. And that's, you know what? That's just how
Simone knows
life is.
Simone better than any of us know
I
Simone.
know.
And
And
you know,
Simone does Simone better than any of us would ever do Simone.
exactly. So I personally think she made the right decision.
If it's what she needed to
If
do,
that's what
it's
she needed to do. You know,
Mhm.
like
Agreed.
I said, that mind is just as important as that hamstring or that Achilles. So,
Yeah,
all right, good on her, Wit. I'm excited to watch this
it'll be
NBC
great.
tonight, 8 p.m. Tune in. Also, watch for Whitney. We don't have first at 4 throughout the Olympics, but watch us at 5 o'clock. I know Whitney's going to have some more
Yep.
analysis on this. Thank you guys for watching and commenting. We appreciate it. Bye.